Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is Cheryl, what she knows. I'm a former bodybuilder and a two-time stroke survivor. Make sure you watch this video all the way through. I want to make sure my video gets pushed out to all the stroke warriors who are looking to heal themselves mentally, spiritually, and physically. My videos are based on my experience, and they are also here to help you have more inspiration in your journey of healing as a stroke survivor. We can do this, guys. We can do it. We made it to the other side. Let's go thrive.
Every 40 seconds, a brain goes dark by stroke. We are taught that strokes are sudden, explosive events. You feel fine, you go about your day, you collapse, and you wake up in an emergency room. But neurologists will tell you that is a massive illusion. In reality, your body almost always sends you a highly specific, 72-hour early warning signal, a temporary glitch. But because these glitches last just a few minutes, most people completely ignore them, blaming bad sleep, stress, or a strange meal. They treat a fire alarm like a mild annoyance. But good news is, by the time you finish watching this, you will know exactly how to decode the bizarre physical warnings your brain uses to ask for help, the invisible damage happening inside your arteries right now, and the important tests that could catch the problem before it's too late. Let us start with a warning sign that almost everyone misinterprets. You are in the middle of a normal conversation, and suddenly, your speech breaks down. Now, to be clear, occasionally forgetting your neighbor's name or losing the word for spatula is completely normal. That is just your brain filing information inefficiently when you are tired. But clinical researchers look for a completely different pattern. They look for fluent nonsense. In your brain, mostly on the left side, there are two distinct areas that manage human language. One acts like a printing press, physically forming the words and sending signals to your lips and tongue. The other acts like a dictionary and translator, organizing the grammar so it makes sense. When a microscopic blood clot briefly starves that translator area of oxygen, you experience a terrifying phenomenon. You might speak fluently, with perfect rhythm, but the words coming out of your mouth are completely random. You might say, "The dog is blue running window," and in your own head, you think you just asked for a glass of water. Or, you might understand perfectly what someone is asking you, but your printing press area goes offline. Your mouth simply refuses to move, or the words come out chopped and slurred like you have been heavily drinking. Because this usually clears up in about 5 to 10 minutes, people brush it off as exhaustion. But your speech did not break down because you needed a nap. It broke down because the complex electrical grid in your language center temporarily lost its power supply. Imagine you are sitting on the couch and you suddenly develop violent, painful hiccups. Not the normal kind that go away when you hold your breath. These are intense, rapid fire, and they might be accompanied by a wave of nausea or a strange numbness in your face. Almost everyone reaches for a glass of water or an antacid, assuming they just have severe indigestion. The reality is far more serious. Clinical case studies published in major neurology journals have documented a fascinating and terrifying pattern, particularly in women. Days before suffering a major brainstem stroke, patients frequently report experiencing sudden, intractable hiccups. Deep at the base of your skull is a structure called the medulla oblongata. It is the primitive control center that manages your involuntary reflexes, like breathing, swallowing, and heart rate. When the blood flow to the back of your brain drops drastically, those reflex circuits in the medulla start to misfire uncontrollably. The diaphragm spasms, causing a violent hiccup. If you or someone you love experiences sudden, relentless hiccups that come out of nowhere, especially if they happen alongside a bit of dizziness or a strange tingling in the face, do not assume it is just stomach acid. That is your brainstem suffocating for a few brief moments. You have probably fallen asleep on your arm and woken up to that heavy, dead, pins and needles sensation. You shake it out, blood flow returns to the compressed nerve, and you are fine. But what happens when you are just walking through the grocery store and half of your face, your right arm, and your right leg suddenly feel like they are packed with cotton? This is the brain's sensory map glitching. Your brain and spinal cord are perfectly fine, and you did not pinch a nerve. Instead, the specific strip of brain tissue that processes physical touch from that side of your body has suddenly been blocked from its oxygen supply. Stroke symptoms are almost always one-sided because of how human anatomy is wired. The left hemisphere of your brain controls and feels the right side of your body, and vice versa. A sudden, one-sided numbness that vanishes after 3 minutes is a glaring red flag that a clot just passed through your brain's sensory processor. Now, imagine looking at the world, and suddenly, someone pulls a gray curtain down over your right eye. You rub your eye, assuming you have a migraine starting, or you stared at a screen for too long. Within 60 seconds, the gray curtain lifts, and your vision is perfectly sharp again. In the medical world, this fleeting darkness is treated as an absolute emergency. That gray curtain is not eye strain. It is almost always a microscopic chunk, a piece of plaque, that broke off from the main artery in your neck and traveled upward. The blood vessel that feeds your eye is not a separate, isolated tube. It is a direct, straight-line branch off the main artery that feeds your brain. When that piece of debris wedges into the tiny artery behind your eye, the light-sensing tissue simply shuts down from lack of fuel. When the debris finally dissolves or shifts, the vision floods back. You might feel relieved, but the reality is that you just got incredibly lucky. If that exact same piece of debris had traveled just a few millimeters to the left or right, it would have bypassed the eye and wedged directly into your brain, causing permanent paralysis. But vision is only one way you navigate the world. The other is a complex balancing act that can fail without warning. You are walking across a completely flat, familiar floor, and suddenly you stagger sideways into a wall. The room might feel like it is violently spinning, or your legs might suddenly feel rubbery, like you are trying to walk on the deck of a ship in a storm. People instantly blame inner ear problems, bad shoes, or a sudden drop in blood pressure, but the reality lies in a structure at the back of your skull called the cerebellum. Think of the cerebellum as the body's ultimate gyroscope. It takes in millions of calculations every second about where your feet are, how gravity is pulling on you, and how hard your muscles need to fire to keep you upright. The cerebellum is fed by arteries that run up through the bones in the back of your neck. If the blood flow in those vertical pipes drops sharply, the gyroscope crashes. Spontaneous, intense dizziness, combined with an inability to walk in a straight line, should always be treated as a vascular glitch until proven otherwise. If you ever experience one of these temporary warning signs, you are standing inside a 72-hour window. This is the exact time frame where clinical data shows a massive stroke is most likely to follow. Do not wait to see if it happens again. There are 3 specific evaluations you need to ask your doctor for to find the hidden damage. First, ask for a carotid duplex ultrasound. This is not a regular scan. It uses sound waves to actually map the speed and turbulence of the blood flowing through your neck. It allows doctors to see exactly how much plaque is building up before it breaks off. Second, ask for an HbA1c blood test. This does not measure what you ate yesterday. It measures what percentage of your red blood cells have been permanently coated in sugar over the last 3 months. It is the ultimate lie detector test for your blood sugar and reveals if your vessels are currently being damaged by microscopic gravel. Third, ask about a Holter monitor. This is a wearable device that tracks your heart's electrical rhythm for a full 24 hours. A massive cause of strokes is a condition called atrial fibrillation, where the top chambers of the heart occasionally quiver instead of pumping cleanly. This quivering whips the blood into a foam, forming thick clots that shoot straight to the brain. Because it comes and goes, a standard 10-second heart check at the doctor's office completely misses it. A 24-hour monitor catches the hidden glitches. The human body is an incredible machine, and it does not want to fail. It gives you warnings. It sends you signals, a bizarre speech pattern, a blinding curtain over your eye, a sudden staggering walk, a deadened arm, or violent, unexplained hiccups. These are not random events. They are the predictable results of a physical system asking for intervention. You now have the biological blueprint to understand exactly what your body is saying. If this information shifted your perspective on how your brain actually works, hit the like button and subscribe. Let me know in the comments which of these warning signs surprised you the most, or if you have ever experienced that sudden, strange, sensory glitch. The reality of our biology is always more fascinating than the myths we are taught. Stay vigilant, listen to your body, and I will see you in the next one.